Hey, how's it going? I've been thinking about. I have two YouTube channels, or two two things that I'm trying to focus on. One is personal development. I've titled it House of Jones. Put a little spin on it. Why not? And then the other one is freedom of expression. If it was a full phrase, I guess it would be freedom of expression with consequence or responsibility, because I'm really disgusted and fed up with the line. A lot of it is that, yeah, back in the day it was good. That was the only thing that we had. But today, especially because of computers and the internet, like, we could be doing so much more. And I've made these little word pads. This isn't one of them right here. This is just kind of the general little thing that I put up. Let me pull one up. Right here, we'll pull up COVID. Right there. I've changed it up some. At the top, I put that this is not. I'm not trying to change anyone's minds. Whatever you want to believe on COVID, it's like, that's fine. I don't care. Believe whatever you want to believe. That's not it. I'm just trying to show that there are lies out there, whether they're intentional or not. And I like that. I think that's good to have at the beginning. It's just a reminder. If you've been watching my other stuff, I talk about, like, just out of habit, I bought a pack of donuts because I just didn't force it down my throat, and I make that little notebook that I've got back there that I'm doing, and it's just a little reminder. So I like that there. And it's for people to decide what's best for them. It's because we're all unique, every last one of us. So what may work for me may not work for you, and that's part of the reason why we have so many medications out there. We have ibuprofen and Tylenol and all that stuff, and it's because, yeah, I've known plenty of people where, yep, this works for someone, but not for somebody else. You know, they have to use this other thing. That's why there's so many, because we're all different. And then I want it to be accurate and up to date. That is something I absolutely cannot do right now. It's going to require all kinds of people. And then having a definition, and then discussing kind of the two sides for it, and then facts and evidence, studies and research. And it's like, this is too much. It takes me a long time to go through this, and I need to be able to zip through this stuff a little bit quicker. A lot quicker. So, for example, right here, the straw man responses. Is that kind of is that redundant? Could I put that up here with side A and side B? Oh, in other countries, crap. So I think for the beginning right now, it's about exposing lies and having some accountability. One of the problems, though, is that, how many politicians are there? How many senators? How many members of the House of Representatives just on the federal level? Then you have that same thing. Every state has a Senate and a House of Representatives. And then they all have governors, and then there's mayors, city council members. They're all over the place. I guess it would. I need to have it focus in on, I guess, the president. Because whenever the presidential elections come up, people are very interested in anything and everything. But that requires, who do you think is going to be running? Who are going to... and it's kind of obvious a little bit. For example, that Donald Trump was in the last election. Why? Because he was the president and he can do 2 terms. So he still had a second term, so he was kind of obvious. But what about the Democrats? Which one of them was it going to be? So which one do you focus on? And how do you know about all of them? Because I hadn't heard of some of the people who are running until right there at the very end. I don't know, but I hear about it today. Like, it's obvious that right now, as it stands, that whenever the next election comes up, that why wouldn't Joe Biden run? I don't see why he wouldn't. Doesn't mean he would necessarily get it, because I think he's kind of out there. But it's kind of like somebody's pulling his strings too. So whoever's pulling his strings, I think they would want to continue to do that. But it's like, what about the rest of them? Who else is going to be on the Democratic ticket that's going to run against him? And then with the Republicans, it's like, well, it looks like Trump's going to run again. And then the governor of Florida, perhaps? What about Ted Cruz? He's pretty well known. Is he going to run? This wasn't even something that I knew that I was going to be doing. If you go back like 3 years, I was getting pretty serious in thinking about doing something like this. But even 3 years ago, it's like I really didn't see myself actually committing to doing it. But what was it? I guess whenever Donald Trump began running is whenever I got interested in politics. At least more seriously than I'd ever been before. And for a while, I was actually with Bernie Sanders, because the stuff that he was saying on the surface sounded really good. But whenever I took a look at what it was that it was saying, and well, is this actually true? Is this applicable? And it's like, no, it's not. It's a fairy tale nonsense gibberish. Like, it sounds good, but you can't do this at all. And so for several years there, I learned about a lot of this stuff, but I didn't ever document this and put this into something that was tangible for consumption for other people. So I can look back on this, though, in my mind, and it's like, oh yeah, I know about this. But there's a lot of missing little pieces and gaps and stuff. And so in a way, I'm kind of having to go over it and do it again a second time. And I was thinking that perhaps the best way to do it is to try to do a whole bunch of videos, and articles at a time, to get as much information out there as possible. And so, what would that be? Because part of what will need to happen is that for anybody who wants to join me on this, one of the things that I want to do is I'm going to create a website. And just the very beginning, real basic kind of stuff, it's you can join, you can become a member, and then you're going to be able to put down all of this stuff too. So if you have any kind of politicians or anything that's kind of going on that's crap, it's like I want people to have a place to come where it's like, nope, this is it. This is the unbridled truth right here. I want it where they can come and it's like, here it is. Here's this stupid argument again. You don't need to go digging around for it because here it is. And it's part of the reason why a lot of people watch something like these YouTube videos is because they're watching somebody else who's already gone over and they've done the work, and it's like, here it is. So, for example, Tim Pool. I bet many of you have heard of Tim Pool, and what does he do? He goes around the internet, he looks at these articles and these things that are going on, he reads it all over, and he says, well, this is what's going on here. So in that way you don't have to, because he'll look at a few articles, and he's also knowledgeable about kind of what was going on before and what's going on now and what some of these people kind of want to do for the future kind of thing. And that's the way all of this is. You watch whoever, because it saves you a little bit of time for doing it. You go to a doctor, not because you're looking to get your medical degree, but somebody else did the work, and it's like, well, just fill me in on the stuff that's pertinent for just me and what I need to know. That's, they did all the work so that you don't have to. I'm doing all of this work, so then that way you don't have to. But in order for this to really get big, to really be effective, it has to be open to everybody. Like, okay, well, what kind of crap is going on that you're aware of? I see it with all kinds of stuff. I see it with, like, what is that? Rotten Tomatoes? Is that with the movies review or IMDb or whatever it is? Or maybe both. But one of them is like horribly, horribly bad. And you'll see these reviews where the critics love it, the audience hates it, or the reverse. And it's like, how is it so off? Video games is another one where they try to shove a bunch of nonsense in it. Sports, where sports have now kind of gotten away from being sports, and it's this wokeness agenda kind of nonsense, and it's like, no, don't want any of that. And then with politicians and that kind of corruption, and who's doing good, who's doing bad, if you have evidence, and this is the key, so it would be kind of tiered in a way where if you just have your thoughts of what you think is going on, it's like, by all means, you have the freedom to express it here. I don't care. But if you have evidence, such as some documentation, a video, or whatever, it's like, all right, well, you kind of get bumped up. This is just absolutely nothing compared to what the finished product is going to be. But kind of start off, because you need to know. You need to know that just because somebody said something, that you don't need to treat it like it's gold. It's like, no, it's not. Let's go over a few of these things. So here's one. This is Tim Pool from Timcast, is the name of the YouTube channel. He's got Tim and Timcast. He's got like 3 or 4 channels. The title of this video is the Biden administration caught trafficking children again. Police even assist. Democrats are extraditing the U.S. Listen to what this guy says.
Story from the New York Post. The Biden administration has been exposed flying underage migrants into New York in the dead of night.
Yeah, dead of night, whatever. I don't care if it's during the night or during the day. Underage minors. That is literally human trafficking, and it's children trafficking. And it's like, yes, that's right. I don't know why. What was this? He said it was the Washington Post. Flying underage migrants. It's like, that's wrong. I've done a few videos where it's like, let's read this news article correctly. And so in this case, it would be Biden secretly flies underage migrants in a child trafficking ring. Illegally. Biden secretly, illegally flies underage migrant children in a child trafficking ring. That's exactly what it is. Because if you change it up, it doesn't make any sense. What if it was drugs? What if it was weapons? Like that doesn't work. You know human trafficking is illegal, right? So's trafficking drugs. So's trafficking weapons. And then he talks about how he doesn't have any hope for any of this because the Republicans, they don't do anything.
It helps illegal immigrants avoid arrest amid border crisis. All right.
Yeah, and see, and then that was something else, was that there's I don't know how many of these groups where they help these people cross the border illegally. And it's like, why aren't they being arrested? You know, if this was gangs and they were getting gang members across, you don't know who these people are. How many of them are mules? And mules, just if you don't know, it's a kind of slang. And that's a person who will take narcotics and they'll swallow it. Because they'll put it in like some kind of piece of plastic or something. The big one that they talk about is the sexual kind, the sexual protection kind. They'll put it in something like that and then they'll swallow it because it's made out of latex. So it's supposed to be able to protect you or protect from stomach acids, or they'll shove it up from down under and they'll shove it on up in someplace. And that's how they'll get these drugs across the border. It's like, how many of these people are doing this? How do you think some of these people get this money? To be able to make this trip, have the money to be able to have the food and the water, and then to start getting their fake documentation.
I can only apologize, I suppose. I told you these stories all before. My administration is, has worked with certain nonprofit groups. I guess this one's a bit more egregious. The Republicans have warned about the border crisis, and we heard that 60,000 migrants were coming. Now it's 100,000. Joe Biden is secretly smuggling migrants in the dead of night. What else is new? 2022. Why should I care about the Republican Party? Why? Because they came out and they're like, I can't believe Joe Biden is doing this. And they do nothing. At the very...
Man, preach it, Tim Pool. I tell you what, I don't agree with everything that Tim Pool has to say, but there are some things, it's like absolutely 100% spot on. That's why I say in my videos all the time, I don't care for politicians, period. Republicans or Democrats. Because it's like, this is 100% illegal. 100%. It's like, even, I live in Texas. Our governor is Greg Abbott. It's like, why are they not arresting these people who are doing this? Oh, the Biden administration are taking these illegal immigrants? It's like, then arrest the Biden administration. Arrest the federal agents. Arrest these nonprofit organizations. Whoever the hell it is that they are, every last one of them should be arrested because it's illegal. It's like, if I were to go and do that, I should be arrested. So should anybody. But part of this is that with Biden and with the feds, it's like, it's not rules for thee and not for me. These rules only apply to you, but not to me, so I'll do whatever the hell I want. It's like, no, you don't. It doesn't make anything better. It doesn't make anything better at all. It makes things worse for us. It's like, you want to help out? You want to make things better? Great. You take your worthless, sorry trash over to them, where they're from, and you help them there so they don't have to leave their home, their friends, their family. And you know what? You know why they don't? Because they know they can't. They know it's dangerous. They know it's all chaotic and messed up. And how do you even do something like that? Well, you know what? It's the same thing in reverse. It's like, how do you bring them here and you get them to do what we do? Because it's the same problem with all of it. We don't have the arguments fleshed out where we've got just this site where all of this has been discussed. And I mean everything. Nothing's off limits. I want to know about it all. It is not going to be swept under the rug. I don't give a damn what it is. I do not care. They're just words. Grow up, bucko. Go on to another one. Oh, this. I mean, female soldier boxes infantry marine in Iraq. The YouTube channel. This is Matthew. Some little thing. But I have this on here because I get so tired of hearing about trans people. And it's like, there's no such thing. You cannot transition. There's nothing to change your X and Y chromosomes. There's no way a man will ever have a uterus and ovaries and get pregnant. There's no way a woman will ever have sperm and testicles and get a woman pregnant. It's impossible. There's nothing out there. And men and women are not the same. So let's watch this. In 2007, Army female says she can whoop any Marine on the base. Like, whatever. She's in the red. And I don't know which one she's gonna fight. I don't think it's the guy with glasses. Or maybe it's a third guy. Gets up, yeah. Got his gloves, his red gloves on. Yeah, it's the third guy that got up. Because there's that guy with glasses. He's probably the captain. They go to the center, they talk. And then he just wails on her. And she's a big girl. I saw somewhere she's like 215 pounds or something like that. And he just bop. He just, the whole time. She can't land a punch. He's just throwing around like it's nothing. The only reason why she doesn't go down more is because he keeps stopping it for some reason. It's like, this isn't the way that a boxing match goes. Is that you keep at it until one person gets knocked to the ground. You don't keep stopping and stopping and stopping and stopping. It's just a few seconds in. Well, what are you talking about? And it's just, she just gets owned. The whole thing. I'll leave a link in the description below, so if you want to watch the whole thing. There she is, down again. Choking on her mouthpiece. Because he hit it so hard, it went her mouth. And she's all bashed up. She's bleeding. He goes over there and like, hey, yeah, you won. Punch gloves, good try or whatever. She won't do it. No, I'm sure her ego was hurt a little bit. She's got some blood coming down her nose or whatever right there, I saw it, and I don't think he got hit at all. And then here's another one. Female Marine versus male Marine in a round of pugile sticks, whatever. Turbo Adrian is the name of the channel. I'll let the volume play on this one so you can hear this one. I'll enlarge it too since it's kind of narrow. The guy is in red. The girl is in black. I'll rewind just a little bit. It's only 20 seconds long. That's because it's just over that quick. She's a Marine. So she's in shape. She's had training. But so is he. I caught this show over 10 years ago now. It was back whenever I saw it on television. I don't have table anymore. And they had special little one shoot documentaries, maybe 30 minutes, an hour long. They did it all the time. History Channel was really big on all that kind of stuff too. And they had it where they had I don't know what she was. If she was like the MMA fighter champion or a boxing champion or whatever. They were like, oh yeah, women can hit just as hard as men. She could take him out. Had the scrawny little guy. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, I can thrash over both of them. And it's like you're comparing apples to oranges, because they are kind of close. He was about as tall as she was, maybe a little bit smaller in build too. But it's like that's not her equivalent. Go get the male champion of boxing or MMA or whatever it is, because that guy's going to be a beast. Whoever that guy is, no matter what, he'd be able to take on me, that little twerp of a guy that they got, and that female champion all at once, all at the same time. We'd just get obliterated. And it's like, where's this truth? Because you can go and you can Google this stuff and you can find fight after fight after fight of women just getting pummeled. You can't find the opposite. There aren't women who are doing the opposite. If it's the opposite, it's because not all men are the same. There are men who are taller than others. There are men who are just bulkier than others. There are men who are skinny. What was that one that's just happened? Amber Heard and Jack Sparrow, Pirates of the Caribbean. Can't think of his name, but he was with her and she was beating him up because she's like 20 or 30 years younger than he is, and he's like this big. Johnny Depp. It's not to say that it can't happen, but it's just whenever you're comparing two equal people, it's a slaughter. And so if you take a woman who's of average height for women and a man who's of average height and build for men, the woman loses every single time. Or are you going to tell me that every single female athlete has purposely underperformed in every single sport? That all of them around the world have chosen never to outrun men, to outlift men, to outdo anything with men. All of them? There's one. There's that Courtney girl. I forget what her last name is, and she does those ultra megathon. She did that Moab 260 or something like that, because it's a 260 mile run. It's technically 258 miles. It takes days to run it. She came in first because women actually have more endurance than men, so she beat the second place runner, who was a guy, by about over 10 hours. It has nothing to do with it being right or wrong. It's just the way that it is. I'm not butthurt that women have an advantage and that they can run further than men. I don't give a damn. It doesn't make me any more or any less of a man, because there's not a damn thing I can do about it, for one. So why the hell should I care? If that's the way women are, that's the way that they are. It's just like they're the ones who get to create babies. Like, that's cool. Doesn't hurt my feelings though. Here's something else. So those are lies right there. That men and women are equal, they can do the same thing. It's like, no, they can't. This is, I can't believe you didn't look at that guidance. Blackburn rips Biden nominee on vaccine mandate. And so this is with Forbes breaking news. At today's Senate Armed Services Committee hearing, Senator Blackburn of Tennessee grills John Coffey, who's nominee to be a general counsel of the Department of Navy on military discharges over vaccine mandates. And he knows nothing.
Last week and the guidance on how sailors who were not.
And he's the guy over here with the glasses and the red tie. And she's asking him these questions, and he doesn't have an answer for any of them.
I have not reviewed the NAV that you're talking about specifically. So
Will you review it and then?
I would be happy to do
Thank
so.
you. Enlisted service members separated under this subparagraph will apparently not be eligible for involuntary separation pay and will be subject to recoupment of any unearned special or incentive pays. Can you articulate what the recoupment of any unearned special or incentive pays means, providing me a tangible?
Well, I can speak to my own background, Senator. As a naval aviator, a naval flight officer at my...
No, I'm
Is
talking
that what
about
she asked?
Specific guidance. So why don't you do that one in writing, since you have not seen that? I can't believe you didn't look at that guidance before coming in here for this hearing.
Yeah, that makes no sense to me. No reasonable sense. It's like, I have plenty of evil thoughts in my head about why this evil man would not be prepared for this. You know what the real reason is? The real thing is that he does know. It's just he doesn't want to answer. He doesn't want to say. He wants to discuss this maybe behind closed doors. I'll be shocked if he actually responds to her in writing or any other way. And if for some reason, if he does, maybe he will. But it'll be just like this. He'll just write about whatever. He won't answer the question. You know, just like right here.
Specific guidance. So why don't you do that one in writing?
As a naval aviator, a naval flight officer at my...
No, I'm talking about the specific.
Yeah, he'll do the same thing in writing. She'll have to come back and say, no, this is not what I asked. You didn't answer the question. You just wrote down a bunch of gibberish. And the whole thing is like this.
Be deemed ineligible from future military service, yes or no?
Senator, I have to submit that in writing.
You'll submit that also. Is the GI Bill education benefit the only absolute benefit not awarded to service members with the general discharge, yes or no?
Same answer, Senator. I'll
Okay.
put that in my written
Is it
response.
fair to say?
She's got like a dozen of these things. And he answers them all the same. I don't know. It makes no sense. It's like, how do you not know? This is literally, you're the nominee to be the general counsel of the Department of Navy on military discharges over vaccine mandates. How do you not know the position that you're trying to apply for? What should happen is that, so what this is, just so that, let's clear this up a little bit. He's going in for a job interview. That's what he's doing. He wants this job. He's a nominee for this. And he's trying to go in to show that I'm qualified to do this. It's like, no, you're not. You can't even answer these questions, which for what you're going to be doing, these are basic, simple questions. This is like going in to talk to a mechanic and you ask him about the engine, can't answer it. It's like, well then, you're not going to get the job. You're not going to work here because you don't know anything about the engine. Oh, you're going to come in here and you want to be the general counsel on military for discharges over vaccine mandates and you can't answer these things?
Say that any sailor discharged for a vaccination refusal will not be entitled to their post 9/11 GI Bill benefit.
Same answer, Senator.
Okay.
All of them. She's asking about what happens to these soldiers who don't want to get vaccinated. What happens to the GI Bill? What kind of discharge are you talking about? Honorable, general, or dishonorable? Are they going to be able to get services to the VA hospital? All of this stuff. Can't answer not one of them. But that's it then. You're done. You failed. You came in for the interview. You couldn't answer any questions. Why should you get the job? You know, here's something else too. And I don't like this one at all. Is that the presidential cycle where Trump won, he went up against Hillary, and she got caught getting the answers to some of the questions during one of the debates. And so I pulled this up real quick just in case if you've might have forgotten, or maybe you just weren't keeping up during the time, but Hillary Clinton received debate questions in advance. Hillary received debate questions weeks before the debate. So what? Who cares? That's just clown world. All of this stuff. It's all backwards. I want them to have the questions because I want the best answers possible. Putting them on the spot, what does that do? I love going to medical with all this stuff. So let's say you have a surgery. Do you want to have the doctor to come in and to operate on your child, heart doctor, brain surgeon, whatever, and they don't know anything? It's like, oh, here's all these questions. How do we do this operation? Where do we cut first? What are we trying to do? Is that the way that you do it? No. They have it all prepped in advance. They try to predict every single thing that's going to happen, so then whenever they do the operation, it goes as smoothly as possible, so they can give their best performance. It's like, I don't care. I care a lot less about tests today than I ever have before. So whenever people are going to med school, I don't care if they can remember all the answers to the test. Because today, again, like I keep referencing, is that we have computers. You know what I want them to have? I want them to have a tablet, a laptop. I want them to be able to go to their office and to consult with doctors and nurses around the world about how to do whatever it is that they're doing and put together step by step every single little thing that they need to know. So then that way, as they're doing the surgery, they can reference it exactly, word for word, what they need to do. That there should be like a surgeon's aide where their only job is to make sure that they're pulling out the correct information, whatever it is that the doctor needs to see. Because the doctor or the surgeon, you know, being sterile is a big thing, and so they don't need to be touching the screen and then going back into somebody's guts. You know, they can have somebody who's, you know, getting paid, you know, a little bit, not as much as a doctor. You know, they're just messing with the computer, but you know, still, you know, paying more than minimum wage for sure. But anyways, I want them to know exactly everything about everything because I want them to do their best. The same thing with this. I want them to know exactly what's going to be asked of them so they can give their best answers. Same thing with what we just saw here. It's like to have her have these questions ready and sent to him before this comes. This is stupid. He should have known easily a week in advance. This is specifically what's going to be asked of you. Because otherwise, what is it? It's nothing. This is all a waste of time. She asked questions that he did not answer. You've accomplished nothing. What, maybe he'll write back to you? It's like, why would he do that? He's here before Congress right now, applying for the job. He didn't do it now. So why would he do it whenever the pressure is less? Stupid. And then stuff like this. The Loudoun School Board member Beth Barts resigns her position because apparently, and I made a video about this, how the people there at Loudoun County are all pissed off because they've got all this wokeness stuff going on, and I came across this because of this, and this is from Fox News. Virginia parents torch a school board saying they can go to hell, and it's because she resigns because they bring a trans student in and say you can go to the girls' locker room, and he assaults a female. Because, oh no, he's a woman because he said so. No, you're not. And then this happened. And they're talking about this like, oh, well, this is a win. You know, the people who are against all this kind of crap, it's like, oh, this is a win. You know, we got rid of her. Hooray. It's like, no, it's not. It's not a win at all. It's absolutely nothing. You know why? because you didn't change the system. It's the same problem. She should have been fired for lying and manipulation. And there should have been a change to the system so that this trash doesn't happen again. So it would be something along the lines of, you cannot change X and Y chromosomes. Men cannot produce eggs and have ovaries. Women cannot produce sperm and have testicles. It's impossible. So this is a biological boy that you put in the female locker room, and then this happened. She got assaulted. Are you kidding me? What has happened that will prevent this from happening again? Nothing. This was not a win at all. And she should be put in prison for this. So I've mentioned this before, I'm a landlord. And under the law, you cannot have more than 2 people per bedroom living at a place, and that if they are minors, they cannot be of opposite gender sharing the same room. And it's because of stuff like this. And you know what? This isn't rocket science. This is something that's been going on since the dawn of time. That's what I want to do. I want to create the arguments that show whichever side is right. I don't care if it's the left or right. I just want to know the truth. Because I have no love for the Republicans or the Democrats. They're all garbage in my eyes. I am a fighter for the truth. That's what I want. And I think a lot of it is that we just don't know. And it's like, that's fine. But a lot of this stuff we can find out. And that's if we will take in all the information, especially the more relevant, more pertinent that it is. It's like, oh, there was something with guns. It's been a long time with this, but it's like the police department don't take in certain information about guns. And it's because it goes against the narrative. And it's been years since I've heard it, and it's because we haven't had anything really big happen in the news lately about guns. I think the last time that I heard about it was during some high school or school shooting or something like that. So it's been a while. And it just baffled my mind. Like, why not? Or here's a more recent one, is that whenever they do the reporting on the news about somebody who's gone around and done some kind of stabbing or shooting, they want to not include what race they are or if they're of a certain religious background. It's like, no, I want to know all the information possible, and I want to see if there are any kind of patterns so that we can make the appropriate judgment. Like, I don't feel any sympathy for somebody who goes out there and they assault someone, or if they steal, or if they murder someone. I don't care. I've got no sympathy for you. On those things, it's like, no, I'm just, no. So, how do I want to be able to go through several videos and articles like this every day. I was thinking of watching the videos, reading the articles, because there's plenty of these things too that whenever I'm done going through them, it's like there really wasn't anything here. And besides the president, who all could I do? I guess major news outlets, major politicians too, not just the president. I mean, it doesn't need to be just the president, because one of the problems that I'm having right now is that to me, I will not be surprised if they remove Joe Biden. And then it's like, well, then what? We're going to have Kamala Harris? Like, every time Kamala Harris opens her mouth, it's like, what did she just say? And so I think that they're trying to keep her out of the spotlight as much as possible, because all she does is just wreck stuff. It's just ridiculous, the things that she says and does. And so they're just trying to softball her just as much as possible. So then they can say, oh yeah, hey, well, we've got Kamala Harris here. Look at how great she is. It's like, no, she's not. You've just been hiding her off over there in the corner. Like, that's a horrible way to bring about the first female president. I don't care about who the female president or the first female president is. If it's the best person for the job, it's the best person for the job. I can put this in real clear terms. Whenever my mom was dying from cancer, I didn't give two shits who had the cure for cancer. Not for one damn second did it ever cross my mind that, oh, I'm not going to pursue that because it came from a woman or someone who was gay or black. I did not care. I do not care now, and it's the same thing with this. I don't give two shits. But man, do not lie to me. I am not here to make you rich or to put you in a place of power just because of some arbitrary thing. Not because you're lying to me or anything else. Drives me up the wall. So, but this is where I'm going with this. And whenever I get enough people to follow, and I start making some money off of this, and I can start with a website, this is going to be not only the outline that I follow, that I do for my videos, but this is also going to be the outline that if you want to join and become a member, that you too can post all of this stuff. But there has to be checks and balances. I'm not going to accept stuff from trolls. You are going to have to verify who you are. So if you start with this stuff, I'm going to have to get rid of you. It'll change later on where that won't happen. But to start with, or I guess I won't get rid of you, but there'll be some kind of consequences. And I have plenty of ideas with it. It's just all these ideas, they just don't fall out of the sky. It requires programming. I don't know anything about it. I'm going to have to hire people to do that stuff. But I think for the basics that I have going on right now, I can handle it, or it's pretty common enough that I could hire somebody to do it pretty easily, quickly, cheaply, kind of thing. So if you've understood this video and you would like to see something like this where everything's fair game, no more lies, then I would appreciate it if you would help me out and give the video a like, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe. That's all I need. That's good enough for now. You know, and as I grow, more will develop. So thanks for watching. Catch you later.